Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am, you're not. How you doing? What are you doing? My house on wheels is coming today. Yeah. So when people call me trailer trash, well, just call me trailer for short. Guys, it is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. 2 days shy of my 62nd birthday here. Guys, you're going to come to my live. There's an open invitation. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, May 24th, guys. So, I wanted to talk to you about some stuff, but please hit subscribe, like, share, please. And thank you guys so much. I'm sorry, I'm not great at this. I thank you guys so much for your memberships. Thank you for the subscriptions, for the likes, shares, the follows, the PayPals, the Cash Apps, the Super Chats. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much. You don't know what it means. It means so much. So let me just say thank you for that. And I always thank you for that. Guys, you could always reach me at toddyonesskip@gmail.com. It takes me a minute to get my emails, but I do. Those of you know, I respond and everything. And in the comments, I try to read every comment. There's so much of you guys now, and I'm so grateful. But I do, and I am very active in the comments. And I just appreciate you guys, and I just hope that shows, because that's important to me. So let's talk about this. Guys, I got to tell you, I've seen some stuff that's been a bit upsetting for me, to be honest with you, as far as Ryan Anderson goes and Gypsy. And, I saw Case's video where I guess Gypsy appears at Ryan's house with the cops because she wants her pictures, and she left him. Can we just go there? Can we just go to how she humiliated and left him on national television? Now, unlike Case, and I like Case, guys. I like Case. Behind the scenes, I like the guy. We disagree on this. We do. We disagree on this. He sees Ryan as totally creepy, and I get it, because listen, when people were writing to Gypsy, right, in prison, they were writing to somebody who literally looked like a child and acted like a child for the sole purpose of being a damsel in distress, for being a victim all the time and wanting people to come to her rescue. But what people don't realize about Gypsy is that she's manipulating the whole scene behind the scenes. Before anything happens, it has gone through Gypsy's head over and over again. She has played the scenarios. She is diabolical. Seriously, she is evil, dressed as a woman who supposedly just had a baby and appears to be brokenhearted when she wants to be brokenhearted, and acts as if she puts a spell on people so that we forget what she's done or what she said or how she behaved or anything, minutes before she does something totally different than she said or did or was behaving about. The most benign thing she's done in all of this bullshit is say she was going to take a 30-day detox from TikTok or social media or whatever, and then come back within 36 hours and act like, what are you guys talking about? What do you mean? What 30-day? Huh? Oh, that was 36 hours ago. You wonder what goes on in her head if she says, nobody noticed, or, I'm queen and they're going to not question me. And if they question me, I'm going to ignore them and make them seem like they're a little cray-cray. I never said anything. What I meant was, this is what I meant. Gypsy, and the way she's gotten away with lies, has only allowed her to think that she's even more diabolical. But here's the thing. She wasn't punished correctly for her crime, but we all know what her crime is. And with the FOIAs and everything that she said about Nick, and now we actually see, we know what the truth is. And it's not Gypsy's truth, because Gypsy's truth is not truth. It's a lie. So when people kind of bash Ryan Anderson, I get that. I get that. You know, him, Ken, and all the other people were writing to somebody who was perpetuating to be a young child. Even though at this point they knew how old she was still, well, I mean, like, what type of person was attracted to her? She perpetuated being and acting like a slow, challenged child. That's how we saw her. So when people were writing to her, that's what was in their mind. They knew how old she was, but in their mind, they already knew the kink, man. They already knew the kink. Who was attracted to her? Curiosity? I understand curiosity. Falling in love? And Ken didn't fall in love. Ken didn't fall in love. Ken fell for the hype. Ryan thinks he fell in love. Ryan thinks that somewhere inside Gypsy is the person that Gypsy wants us to believe she is. I don't think Ken actually believes that. I don't think Ken believes that, but I think Ryan did, and Ryan was one of her biggest cheerleaders, and all was fine when Ryan was cheerleading. But instead of appreciating Ryan and how he just let you go, he didn't fight with you, he didn't do anything, you reached out to him. He wanted some sort of ending when he realized, hey, you know, I can't do anything, I can't make her do anything. It was you that started texting him, Gypsy. And then you wanted to give the whole world the idea that he was bothering you, Gypsy. So you have your friend Bree, who doesn't check anything out. Doesn't check anything out at all. Can you imagine if I took that video of the make-believe Ken getting it on with another man and posting it on my channel? I didn't check it out. Totally irresponsible. What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? Responsibility? No responsibility. I have no responsibility to Ken. He's not my boyfriend. He's not my dream. He is nothing to me. But I still know the difference between right and wrong. So when Bree gets up there and says, I da 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 and da 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 da. No, she doesn't. Her actions will show you something different. Her actions will clearly show you something different. So seriously, I would like to ask a question. Why couldn't I have taken the video that somebody sent me pretending that there was an unclothed Ken getting it on with another man, and why couldn't I have popped that online without checking it out, without looking into it and checking it out and putting it out there? What is the difference between doing that and what Bree did by just taking Gypsy's word, by just taking somebody's word and putting something online? Why couldn't I take somebody's word and put something online? Don't we have a little bit more responsibility in that? I could have destroyed Ken. I could have. Let's be real. I could have. I could have put so much doubt and caused so many problems, but it's not the right thing to do. So when Bree behaves like that and I call her out on it, I think I have every right to, because I have the same responsibility she has. But she doesn't have the responsibility. She hides behind her friend Gypsy. Well, I have a bunch of friends. I could hide behind Becca. I could hide behind everybody that you fucked with and doxed. And that you continue to, that I keep getting reports about. But I'm handling it a different way. It might take a little bit longer, but I'm trusting and I believe it's going to be a lot more permanent. And it's the right way. So, what is the difference between taking false information and putting it online and taking false information and putting it online? It's wrong. It's just wrong. Check your facts, Bree, with the facts. By getting Gypsy's word and running with it, and then being shown later that you were either lied to or you just didn't care, and you didn't even come on and say, you know what I did to Ryan was wrong, because I see that Gypsy was the one that began all this. No. But when you're wrong, you say you're wrong. and you give Ryan permission to be upset with Ken. You could be upset. He doesn't need your permission. He doesn't need your permission. Why are you in the middle of this? I'm not out here putting out shit. I'm reporting on shit, on the way things are being played out, but I'm not putting out stuff. I'm not taking somebody's messages and throwing them out there. You know, somebody else could do their own dirty work. They're not going to use me for that. So it's such a shit show that everything, I mean, this is, you know, when people say the Gypsy Rose, you know, the gypsosphere, and, you know, it's something to be proud of in your own world if your world wasn't so evilly demonic, which is what yours is, Gypsy. So this is the legacy that you're going to have, you know, with your mindless minions and all that. You think history is going to look good upon this? No. Your daughter's going to be real proud. Now, Case put out something that apparently was leaked to him. And it was a video of Gypsy appearing at Ryan's door with, I can only assume, Christy taking the fucking video of it. So here's Ryan doesn't realize he's being, you know, on camera. But they know what's going on. Again, they know what's going on. He knows nothing. He answered the door. If he didn't want to give her up the things that she left behind and wanted the lawyers to handle it, or wanted to inconvenience her, or was hanging on to stuff in hopes that she would come back so he could get answers, or in hopes that she would come back, who gives a shit? What do you think is worse? Somebody hanging on to their marriage, or somebody leaving somebody in the dust after using them for marriage? Because to me, what's worse is the person using the other person, not the person trying to hang on. Okay? So the fact that Ryan didn't bend over backwards and spread his cheeks so that he could go ahead and be manipulated, used, and everything again, I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him at all. You know? So that's what I have to say about that, and how unfair. How unfair. This is Gypsy's MO over and over. It's the same thing she did with her mom. It's the same thing she did with Nick. It's the same thing she did with Ryan. It's the same thing she did with Rachel Garlick. It's the same thing. When she's doing it with Bree. She's just in the middle. She's not done using her yet. But it's going to happen. Mark my words, it's going to happen. Or Bree might end up doing time for Gypsy, because either Bree's going to get her own sense and say, listen, I'm not going down for you, Gypsy. Like, this isn't right, Gypsy. You do this, Gypsy. Either she's going to stand up to Gypsy, or the friendship is going to end. And even if she does everything right, like Rachel Garlick did, maybe, perhaps, she'll find somebody else to call her BFF. You know, the people that, you know, she actually does things with, instead of just on social media for things like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Come on. And guys, I also think that these text messages that have come out that people have beat up Ryan for, as far as, no, that baby's going to stay in Anderson until this happens, that happens, that happens, that happens. Again, you have to ask yourself, would that have really happened had Gypsy had said to him, man, had she have shown any respect for this guy? No. Is it right what Ryan did? You know, the only thing that I honestly have a problem with is if Ryan actually said, yeah, I want to hold the baby because she's a part of you. Yeah, that's a little, still not quite as creepy as offering up your child when she becomes 13 years old, which we know Gypsy actually did and tried to blame Nicholas for, but it came out in the FOIAs that it was all Gypsy's idea. Remember that? So there's really no comparison there. Gypsy's won in that one. She takes the cake. She's got first prize on that one. I honestly think that Ryan wanted to see the kid because I think he thought or thinks that looking at the child, he would feel something if the child was actually his. The DNA test that was taken, first of all, the lawyer said that doesn't even apply. Like, we can't even use that to change anything. That DNA test was, first of all, it was more invasive than the other one. I'm telling you, that was done for Ken. Because Ken said, I want to make sure that's my kid or I'm stepping off the fucking boat right now. That's what I think that was for. She could say it was for anybody else, Gypsy, but she's a liar. That was for Ken. Ken wanted to make sure he was investing in his own kid. That's what I think that was for. And who knows if it's even true? I mean, Gypsy has $50 supposedly. Who knows where her money went? You could buy anything. You could buy anybody, unfortunately, in this world, unfortunately. So, for Ryan not to believe, why would he believe? Look at what Gypsy put him through. Common sense. We don't believe. We're not even sure that there's still a kid. Half of us don't even believe that. So why would Ryan believe anything Gypsy said? And better yet, why would he make anything easy for her? When she took his life, tossed it upside down, and it landed wherever, and she said, yeah, you can pick up the pieces. I don't give a fuck. And take our dog out and let our dog shit all over, too. You can clean that up on the way. Like, I don't think Ryan owes Gypsy anything. And if he wanted to make things difficult on her, so be it. Why does she deserve respect when she didn't give any? Why does she deserve grace when she didn't show any? You know, and she keeps saying, well, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. Yeah, because she thinks Ken broke her heart all those years ago. What does that say? What does that say? If you really know what it feels like and you put that on somebody else, what does that say about you? And then it's not good enough. It's not good enough. She's got to get content creators that are looking for views and shit to go ahead and put leaked private text messages out there that Ryan thought he was having privately. Just like Gypsy thought they were sacred until Ryan, in defense, leaked hers. You know, the one message that he leaked about was he with Amber J, that one little message. Leaked messages out that she knew she was going to leak. She knew. His attitude, he's not going in with that attitude of, well, I'm going to save this shit for later because I could use it to weaponize her. That's not his attitude going in there. But that's Gypsy's attitude. And that's Gypsy's attitude about everything. Gypsy's always a mile ahead, guys. She's always a mile ahead. There was a content creator. I'm not even trying to laugh. Like, I think I copied. I think I actually recorded this. There's a content creator that said, if anything happens to me, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You know, and I thought, is this a joke? And then I thought, you know, there's weirder things that have happened. I would think that everybody that's connected with Gypsy that is doxxed or messed or done anything, they should know. And I think that they have been forewarned that their information has been definitely given to authorities if they were involved in any of the doxing information. So, I mean, if that puts anybody's mind at ease, is anything possible? Is Gypsy going to go around and unalive people? I guess that's another video we could talk about, and we could do that from like a dark humor, or, you know, like a serious thing, because again, anything, yeah, that's scary, but anything is possible, right? Anyway, I digress, but that's something that somebody did send me, actually. I kind of think that Gypsy has information on everybody that can ruin everybody. I really do. That's what I think. I think that, yeah, she has become that that gremlin that everybody's afraid to turn their back on. I do think so. She's got blackmail on her dad, no doubt. Blackmail on Christy, no doubt. Blackmail on Ken, no doubt. And obviously, she had blackmail on Ryan, no doubt. These people go into these relationships with the exception of her family. I'm not talking about that. I don't even really want to talk about Ken. But we could assume, and Ryan, that they went into this relationship like Nick did, looking for love, looking for that special person so that they could build a life, a future with. And once again, Gypsy already determined the future of these people before the first time she, to be honest with you. She already determined what they were going to be doing in her life. So when I call her Gypsy, yeah, there's a reason for it. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Take care. Thanks.
That's where my mom screwed up. I was her whole life.